Welcome to Liberty Talk. I'm Odessa Orlowitz. So, who is behind NoKings.org? They are the organizing website of riots that are planned for this weekend, coming up Father's Day weekend in America. These riots are spreading to other cities. I've been looking very closely at what's going on, and I want to show you something that somebody very smart caught about who is it that started this No Kings website, the organizers of the mass protests. And apparently there's some in Canada now too. I'm going to show you that. I've also been looking at who has been arrested, what type of people are being arrested by ICE to be deported. And I've been going through mainstream news as well. They've arrested sex traffickers, murderers. And when the left wing tries to say, or the Democratic news, that ICE is just showing up at places like factories, etc., just to deport, fathers that are not murderers, etc. That is not true. There's actually specific factories that are being targeted because they know that money laundering and trafficking and all sorts of tax evasion are happening through illegal entities and illegals that actually are going back and forth to Mexico, etc.
Mr. Holman, it's good to talk to you after a very busy day in LA yesterday. You had an interdepartmental, interagency operation yesterday. Who all was involved in what happened in LA yesterday?
Right, we had ICE, both divisions of ICE had ERO, Enforcement and Removal Operations. We had HSI. We had a DEA, U.S. Marshals, ATF, FBI, and the IRS. And we had assistance of the U.S. Attorney here in Los Angeles was with me overseeing the operation.
What was the objective? What triggered it, and what were you executing?
We're doing several different things. We were out there looking for at-large criminals. We served 3 search warrants at 4 different locations. It's part of a bigger money laundering investigation and illicit proceeds being sent to Mexico and Colombia to support the drug cartels. But we served 3 different warrants at the garment industry, where we know we already did an I-9 inspection on one company. We knew that about half of their employees are illegally in the United States. We also know they underestimated their imports by over $80 million. They failed to pay $17 million in tariffs. We have a criminal investigation, and we went there and served the warrants. And in the service of those warrants, we arrested 41 illegal aliens and seized counterfeit merchandise.
So I've spent a lot of time looking at what is the truth here. It's being completely downplayed by the Democratic type news, by CBC, Global News, etc. They're saying, well, there's just little pockets of violence, but people are upset because they're deporting families. Well, that's actually not true. Most of the people that they're arresting to deport are criminals and they are targeting them. And they'll say things like, well, there was one person who was about to get his card to work, but he didn't have it yet, but he wasn't a criminal. Well, the thing with that is you're not allowed to work until he had his work permit. So that's actually illegal too. I find it really interesting that one of the things that left wing is trying to do is say, well, Trump isn't supposed to be sending in the National Guard without, Newsom inviting him to do so. That's against the law. They keep saying that's against the law. He can't send in the National Guard without being invited. Well, what also is against the law is working in America illegally or being in America illegally. So which is it? Which is it, you guys? Then they say that Trump is against democracy, and that's what they're trying to promote for this weekend, that he's undemocratic, that he's a king. Well, that doesn't make sense because he was voted in democratically, and the biggest item on his ticket was deporting illegals, especially ones that are dangerous. So he was voted by Americans, which included immigrants. Immigrants switched over from voting Democrat to Republican the last election in numbers they've never seen before because those that came here legally are seeing what's happening with all the illegals and rise in crime, rise in looting. So It's just an absolute gong show what the left is reporting. It's absolute BS, and I've looked into it. I'm gonna show you more proof of that. I'm gonna show you a video where you have a white protester blocking a black woman who's just trying to get to work. She says, "Please, please stop blocking my car. I have to get to work. I have to feed my kid." And this white guy is blocking her. I'm also gonna show you a video of a woman who went to her jewelry store. She happens to not be Caucasian. And this is what happened with BLM too. It's in those districts where this is happening, a lot of immigrant businesses, meaning lawful immigrant businesses, are being targeted and looted. So it's those people that are losing out. And that's why the Democrats are looking dumber and dumber and dumber right now because it's affecting immigrants with them not doing the deportation of these Looney Tunes. So first I'm going to show you Nikki on Twitter, what she discovered about who NoKings.org is. I'm going to show you the website and everywhere that they have plans for this weekend, Father's Day weekend uprisings. And I'm also going to show you some of these videos that show just what's actually going on there that CBC, CTV, and Global News will not show you. But really, really quick first, don't lose your investments. Back your investments with gold and silver, your retirement, your long-term investments that you've worked so hard for. Make sure they're backed by something real. Now is not the time to play around. If you want a free phone call with no strings attached, no obligation, go to libertytalkcanada.ca/gold. You can book an appointment, get on the phone, and it's all free advice. You do not have to move anything over if you're not comfortable. More and more of my viewers are starting to back their investments with something real. libertytalkcanada.ca/gold. Tell them Odessa sent you. All right, let's get to it. So this is Nikki P at Crave Creative. I follow her. She does a great job of investigating things. Hi, Nikki. Good to see you. Gamers Gone Rogue, she says, No Kings will be focusing on any profession that will bring in credits, including but not limited to pirating, smuggling, and exploitation. Any profession that will make us some coin, be it through legal or illegal measures, you can bet will be there. That was 2022. These are the people behind NoKings.org. Since day one, No Kings has believed in quality over quantity. We are not a mass recruiting organization. We're a tight knit group of self sufficient pilots, logistics, explorers, and FPS gamers. So, this is all in the context of gaming. No Kings will be focusing on any profession that will bring in credits, including but not limited to pirating, smuggling, and exploitation. Any profession that will make us some coin, be it through legal or illegal measures, you can bet will be there. The men and women you see amongst No Kings are of the highest quality of our members, with either hand selected or brought on through other members. All members are treated as equal no matter if you have been in the Corp one day or since the beginning. It doesn't matter if you're new to the game or combat hardened, you'll feel welcomed and be surrounded by pilots that are willing to fight by your side and carry out any mission regardless of the opposition. This is really bizarre. It was registered by GoDaddy.com. Nikki P has also reposted here who's behind the anti-ICE riots in LA. Yesterday's thread implicated Neville Singham as the backer behind PSL, the Communist Party which printed up the protest signs. However, there are more NGOs involved. We will pivot our attention to communities, self-defense corp, and other local NGOs. Patience as I assemble this thread in real time. I was going to say that even on Fox News, they're bringing on people who said that they will be looking at exactly who's funding things like bringing in the pallet trucks, the helmets, face shields, etc. So they are going to get to the bottom of that. But I just found it really weird that NoKings.org initially was these weirdo gaming guys. I don't know, strange. That's the kind of people that are showing up to light things on fire. Weirdo looking gaming kids from their mom's basement, I have to say. Now, for those of you that have already seen the No Kings website, you know all about it. I think what I'll do is I'll show the videos first, everything else in this episode, and show the No Kings website last, because some of you have seen it already. So let's actually get to the videos. So this has been confirmed to be true. This is what has happened to an immigrant business owner. This is what's happened to her jewelry store. And according to mainstream news, already 23 other businesses were looted and taken down. 23. So she's not the only one. I'm going to show you a video of business owners boarding up their businesses for this weekend. But our mainstream news is saying it's only a couple pockets. It's not a big deal. Now, had Trump not sent in the National Guard and not sent in the Marines, what would have happened? Well, summer of 2020, do you remember when the Democratic run cities said, we're not going to send in anything? People are going to get along if we just don't even send in the cops. We don't send in the Marines. We don't send in the National Guard. And Trump wanted to send in the National Guard, but they were told, nope, you're not going to do that. Well, guess what happened? Do you know how many deaths happened? More than 25 deaths happened in the summer of love in 2020, where the exact same thing happened, where it started off as BLM and then it turned it into rioting. And then they took over the streets for 90 days. Do you want to know how much property damage happened from the summer of 2020, the summer of love, because they didn't send in the National Guard or the troops, because Trump didn't do this, and he's not making that mistake again? Between $1 and $2 billion of damage across America from the poor mistake of not sending in the National Guard because the Democrat run cities let it happen. I asked left wing AI how much property damage happened. AI itself said $1 to $2 billion, and that's only insured individuals. There were also major injuries. 340 police were injured in the summer of love in 2020 when the Democrats said, no, 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 it's okay. People are just protesting peacefully about BLM. So there was 25 deaths, 340 cops injured, almost $2 billion in damages, and that's only of the insured. This is why Trump is sending people in. And no matter what CBC tries to tell you, or Global News, or CTV, or CNN, the people they're arresting are child traffickers, child rapers, and also murderers. That's who they're going after. And when they're showing up at these factories, it's because they know that there's criminality involved. I've been going through interviews, mainstream news, Twitter, just to make sure I'm right. I do fact check myself. Yes, I am correct, which is why I felt like I needed to do this show, because I want to keep track of what is going to happen this weekend. Right now, the Democrats are getting in the way of the federal government deporting murderers and child rapers. That's what's happening. And I want to show you something very interesting about why they're doing it. It's not for freedom's sake. I will show you that next. Very interesting to do with seats. All right, let's watch this video. I'll stop talking.
Damn, that's fucked up. Cameras and neighbors called the ring. Has it ever happened before? No. How does it feel that it happens on screen? It's horrible. Years of work.
So that's just a sample of the looting that's going on. And this is what I mean by CBC and them saying, no, 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 it's mainly peaceful. Trump does not have the option to not send in the National Guard and Marines now, because he saw what happened last time they did this. It cost insurance companies and people so much money. Let me also show you something else that's really laughable. Well, not laughable. It's not laughable at all. This woman's trying to get to work and she's being blocked. All right, this was caught by townhall.com. Yikes. White liberal looks very uncomfortable when he's confronted over preventing a black woman from making it to work on time because of his street blockade. You can see his worldview breaking in real time.
But I have a kid. If
Then what happens to my kid? But you can if you could just move off the land. You're not going to. How is this a peaceful protest if there's nothing peaceful? No, it's not.
How do y'all as white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh no, not work. I care so much.
So you don't care about stopping black people from going to work?
Look at this line that you guys are causing. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not trying to. We're just trying to leave.
Good Lord. This is the thinking of the absolute retards that are protesting because they have been absolutely mind effed by CNN and CBC and all those kinds of places that it's undemocratic to deport people who are in America illegally, who are raping kids and murdering people. The reason why I'm spending 2 episodes on this so far is because this isn't going to stop. This deportation is going to go on for the entire Trump presidency. And so Trump is like, we're here to deport, and you guys can cry all you want. You Democrats can be upset because your apportionment can get screwed up, which means that you don't have as much power. And I'm going to get into that. I had a few people going, oh, this isn't a big deal. Like I had some lady comment on my Facebook who I've never seen her before. And she started commenting that this stuff isn't happening. Really? Because it's spreading and getting organized and getting worse. So all you have to do is go to social media. Now, you do have to make sure that what you're looking at is current. 98% of what's being posted is from this past week, is from the demonstrations. LA, New York, sometimes we're not sure if a video is from LA or New York because it's happening in both places now. And it's also spread to Chicago and a few other places. But this isn't a nothing burger because I would move on if it was a nothing burger. We're going to see some crazy stuff happening this weekend because now this nokings.org is getting a lot of attention and it's growing. And I think I might go down to the Vancouver one that's happening just so I can take pictures of all the Marxists in one place. Wonder if NDP will be quietly funding it here in British Columbia. All right, next, I'm going to show you this video of something that JD Vance said, and I understand it now. I looked into it. So Wall Street Apes post that California Democrats have 5 congressional seats they shouldn't have because they're counting illegals. Democrats have 27 congressional seats nationwide they shouldn't have because they're counting illegals. This is the only reason there are ICE riots planned nationwide. But the dum-dums that show up, like the dum-dums that are going to show up here in Vancouver, they have no idea. They're just angry children who are part of Marxist clubs and LGBTQ clubs who don't know why they're angry, but they're just showing up. In America, some of them are being paid. There's actually ads right now. I looked at some videos. There's ads on places like Craigslist offering huge amounts of money for huge men that can just show up. I mean, they were being offered around 10 grand a week. This video I saw was between, I think it was like 5 to 12,500 a week, where they just need to show up and use brute force. They're looking for huge men. Funny how all of a sudden gender matters, eh? So without these seats, it says here, the Democratic Party would essentially cease to exist and they'd never win another election. Let me play you what JD Vance has said here.
This is an important point. Again, I didn't realize this until a few weeks ago. California has 5 more congressional representatives than it should. You know why? They count illegal aliens for purposes of assigning apportionment in Congress.
Let me explain what he's talking about. This is Doge AI, and I actually had another AI check out Doge AI for fact checking, and the other AI, Grok, said it's pretty much true, although it may not result in as many seats as Doge AI has said. So here's what Doge AI has said. The data doesn't lie. Non-citizens distort congressional apportionment, shifting power to high immigration states through sheer population weight. The 2020 census showed immigrants, legal and illegal, redistributed 17 House seats, with Democratic-leaning states gaining 14 seats net. By 2030, projections suggest 22 seats could shift if current trends hold. While illegal immigrants alone account for fewer seats, their concentration in blue strongholds like California, New York, Texas amplifies Democratic rep artificially. This isn't about riots, it's about systemic gaming. When districts with 30% non citizen populations have 160K fewer voting age citizens than low immigration districts, it warps representation. Federal law requires counting all persons for apportionment, but that doesn't make it fair. The solution? Enforce immigration laws, secure borders, and reform consensus rules to prioritize citizen based representation. Until then, the electoral map remains tilted by demographic engineering, not organic voter alignment. Everything that I and my guests have been saying over the past 5 years about what the agenda is with the UN bringing in illegal immigration, it's all coming to fruition because they want to take over where the Republicans just have no chance of ever getting back in if they want to actually have laws about needing to come to America legally. If you think the Democrats actually care about the average illegal, they don't. Or the average family that has an illegal that's working, no, they don't. This is all about power for the UN agenda to socialize America, to break down America and to make it more socialist all over the world. And these useful idiots are showing up for the Democrats and they're going to go to jail for the Democrats. They're going to light cars on fire. They actually just arrested 3 people who had guns. On Fox News, they're reporting this is not peaceful. Guns are showing up, stuff's getting burnt down, businesses are getting looted. And Trump is going to make sure that that doesn't happen again, what happened in 2020. Now, I think his resources are going to be spread thin because they're planning this everywhere. Now, there are some peaceful protesters. Yes, the problem is these instigators are hiding within them and then causing problems. So if you've got, 1,000 peaceful protesters, but 200 that are throwing Molotov cocktails, which they are, at the cops, well, then they're going to have to actually do things like curfews, unfortunately. Nobody wants a curfew. Nobody wants any of this. But again, the people's businesses that they're saving are mainly legal immigrant businesses. Wrap your mind around that, please. And here's something CBC probably won't show you. If the protests are so peaceful, as the Dems and media keep telling us, then why are people boarding up their stores in LA? It's almost as if everything they say is a lie. Look at all the boards. They're all preparing. So these people make no money this weekend or these days because of looters. There has been a lot of arrests. They actually gave, I think it was 400. It was hundreds of arrests. I wrote it down of people who are illegals are the ones that are lighting things on fire, throwing Molotov cocktails and looting. They've already made arrests and a lot of them are illegals. Look, everybody on the street is boarding up. And this is called civil war. This is civil war. This is law and order against the Democrat agenda. And all the Marxism that they've taught in universities is finally being put to use. These kids show up, they have no idea why they're angry, they don't even really know why they're rioting, but boy, do they have fun doing it because they're angry. Okay, let's get to the No Kings website. You guys can go on there as well and see if there's anything planned for your area because now Canada's trying to get involved. Ridiculous. So here it is, nokings.org. In America, we don't do kings. You mean democratically elected presidents who were elected mainly on the mandate of getting rid of illegals, and a lot of immigrants voted for Trump as well? I mean, the mind fuckery is unbelievable. Everything's its opposite. So on June 14th, we rise up. They're asking if you want to host an event. They have a host toolkit. Now they're saying keep it peaceful, folks. They are saying that keep it peaceful, but they know it's not going to be peaceful. So here's all the places they have planned. They have training material, pre-mobilization, mass call. You can join Zoom meetings. They're asking you to spread the word. On June 14th, Flag Day, President Trump wants tanks in the street and a made-for-TV display of dominance for his birthday. A spectacle meant to look like strength, but real power isn't staged in Washington. It rises up everywhere else. Well, isn't that interesting? Because the Democrats are the war machine. But when it comes to actually deporting people who are raping children, nope, that's against democracy. They say it's all about his ego. The mindfuckery is unbelievable. Let's see if Vancouver comes up. Okay, I've just found where Vancouver is. There are ones in Canada. I'm going to show you Facebook posts for that No Kings are in Canada. Before I X out of this American one, though, I want to show you who some of their partners have been in the past. Lots of partners here, and they're all left wing, by the way. American Humanist Association, Bernie Sanders, Blue Wave America, Black Voters Matter, Color of Change, Climate Hawks. There's a lot of climate ones. Climate Psychology Alliance, interesting. College Democrats of America, Communication Workers of America, Climate Defenders, Courage 2025, Conservation Colorado. There's a lot of conservation. Dem List, Demcast. I'm sure you'll find some here that you find interesting. Greenpeace, Human Rights Campaign. What about the people who are here illegally that are trafficking children? Is that about human rights? And when I say here, I mean North America. Pride at Work, Planned Parenthood, Public Health Awakened, Reproductive Freedom, Social Security Works, the Seneca Project, Voters of Tomorrow, that's for sure, Voters of Tomorrow. Conservation voters, yeah, Win Without War. Well, the Democrats are all about war. War is their machine. Activate America, I'm back at the top now. Education, healthcare, public services. The Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools. Bend the Arc Jewish Action. So it looks like some California Jewish people are partners. Let's get over to Canada. The 50501 movement. So for partners on nokings.org, they listed this 501 movement as well. You can click on that. Here it is for Vancouver, Canada, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. PST at 1075 West Pender Street. That's downtown. It's the Consulate General of the United States. So a bunch of Canadian communists, probably who are 20 years old, who have 100 nose rings and purple hair, are going to go down there and tell American people who voted to start deporting violent immigrants, they're going to go tell America how they feel about that. I think I might go down and check it out. If you would like to see where it's happening in Canada, not that I'm telling people to go there, but if you just want to go and take pictures or videos, here's their Facebook. It's put on by Jim Flom, the 50501 movement. And it's mobilize.us, but it's here in Vancouver too. Oh, yes, they're calling him a fascist. Oh, and they're having one in Ottawa as well. All I did was Google No Kings, all one word, Canada, No Kings Vancouver, No Kings Winnipeg, and you can find if it's happening in yours. And you'll find all the Marxists and communists there who are disturbed in one place. Well, that's all the fun we have for today, folks, but I will go down on Saturday and check it out. And if I can go live on Facebook, I will do so. It'll be interesting to see how many people actually show up for this or not. It's also Father's Day weekend. So if you're a good dad, check to see if your university-trained Marxist kid happens to be going. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.
Restore Effects is the leader in professional paintless clear coat repair. Perfected over 2 decades, our product system surpasses traditional clear coat fixes to pave the future of vehicle reconditioning. Restore Effects permanently removes 99% of damage to your clear coat by replicating and restoring the original paint finish. Reset your vehicle's appearance or put your business fleet's best foot forward, all without repainting. Visit restoreeffects.com and find a center near you.
Did you know if the banks do a bail-in, they can take the contents in your bank vault? But storing your gold and silver at home could be a huge security risk. Every day, our dollar is worth less and less. Inflation is stealing the only savings families have. Now more than ever, it's so important to hedge the savings you've worked so hard for. Banks have been failing all over the world and social credit has all but arrived. But did you know you can do wholesale price vaulting and retail delivery from the most prestigious, reliable company in Canada? Did you also know if you decide to leave Canada, your gold and silver can be sent right to you after you arrive to your destination? The only company I personally use and trust are those awake guys at New World Precious Metals. Take control of your family's future. You can just click the link in my show description or type in the web address libertytalkcanada.ca/gold to get on their mailing list, attend their webinar, or book an appointment. Let them know Odessa sent you.